It's 2 a.m. and we're wide awake. Again, not drifting, not half asleep, wide awake. Our eyes ping open like someone's flipped a switch, and suddenly our minds start racing. Tomorrow's to-do list, that conversation from 3 days ago, worrying about nothing and everything all at once. Our hearts might even be pounding a little. And we're not tired anymore, we're just frustrated. We glance at the clock, do that grim mental maths, and realize that we've got maybe 3-4 hours left before the alarm screams at us. And suddenly tomorrow feels like exhausting already before it's even begun. Now, if you're watching this thinking, well, yes, that's me, every single night, I need you to hear two things right away. First, you're not broken. Second, this is not random. That 2 a.m. wake-up call, it's a very specific message from our bodies that something fundamental has shifted. And research backs this up. Up to 47% of women in perimenopause and over 60% in postmenopause struggle with major sleep disruption. Not just falling asleep, but waking up in those dark, quiet hours and not being able to get back to sleep. So before we go any further, I want you to know this is not just in your head. This is not about willpower, and you don't have to just deal with it. In this video, we're going to unpack what's actually happening in our bodies at 2 a.m., why our nervous systems get stuck on high alert, and the specific science-backed strategies that can help us reclaim our rest. Because what we deserve isn't just survival sleep, we deserve deep, nourishing, restorative sleep, the kind that lets us wake up feeling like ourselves again. I'm Beryl, and this is the Radiant Reset, where we navigate midlife together with wisdom. And just so you know, I'll mention one tool later that I personally use and love. It's an affiliate link, which simply means that I may earn a small commission at no extra cost to you. So let's be honest about what's really happening here. Waking up at 2 a.m., what doctors call sleep maintenance insomnia, isn't just about feeling tired. This affects everything. It starts the moment we wake up. We open our eyes already exhausted, like we've just run a marathon in our sleep. We feel like zombies with a mild migraine hovering just behind our eyes. And no amount of coffee touches it. We feel heavy, foggy, flat. Then comes the brain fog that follows us through the day, and we walk into rooms and forget why we're there. We lose our train of thought mid-sentence. We struggle to find words that used to come so easily, and we start wondering, what's wrong with me? Am I losing it? Let me stop you right there. Nothing is wrong with us. Our brains are just tired. Then there's also the emotional side, and nobody really prepares us for this. When we're sleep deprived, our emotional resilience drops off a cliff. Little things feel enormous. Small frustrations feel completely overwhelming, and we might snap at people we love, get irritated over minor things, feel rage bubble up out of nowhere, and then comes the guilt afterwards. Why did I react like that? That's not who I am. Because we're exhausted, that's why. And our poor sleep affects our physical bodies over time as well. Many of us notice weight gain, especially around our midsections, slower metabolism, more inflammation, and joint pain that seems to come out of nowhere. And here's what's really concerning. Long-term poor sleep is linked to faster cognitive aging and increased risk of chronic disease. But what nobody talks about enough is how lonely this feels, lying there in the dark house, completely quiet, with everyone else peacefully sleeping away, husband snoring his head off, which is even more irritating when you can't sleep, and we're just awake, alone with our thoughts, our worries, our racing minds. It can feel incredibly isolating, like we're the only ones going through this. But we're not. We're absolutely not alone in this. I want to share something personal with you. I've struggled with sleep my entire life. I've tried everything. There were years when I relied on sleeping pills just to function. And honestly, sometimes I still use them when I absolutely have to. Long international flights, important presentations, times when I know that I can't afford to lie awake and not sleep. But what I'm really committed to now, what I've learned through this whole midlife transition, is working with my body instead of against it. And one of the biggest shifts for me was this. When I start feeling tired around 8:30 p.m. at night, that's my usual signal that my system is saying, wind down now, this is your window. And for years, I chose to ignore it. I'd feel tiredness creeping in, and instead of honoring it, I'd open up my laptop, start working on projects, get creative, push through, and catch that second wind. And then I'd pay for it at 2 a.m. every single time. Because here's what I've learned. We're not meant to force our energy. We're not meant to override our body's wisdom. We're meant to actually recognize the invitations that our bodies are extending and respond with respect. And when we ignore those signals, our bodies wake us up later, stressed, wired, trying to process everything we didn't give ourselves time to metabolize. So for me, this has been about learning to actually listen, to trust, to honor those internal cues, even when the world tells us to push hard and push through. And that shift, it's changed everything for me. So let's talk about what's actually happening inside our bodies at 2 or 3 in the morning. The main player in our 2 a.m. wake-up call is cortisol, our primary stress hormone. Cortisol isn't really bad. We need it. It's our get up and go hormone. In a healthy rhythm, cortisol stays low at night and it rises in the early morning, peaks around 8 to 9 a.m., and then tapers off throughout the day. Beautiful, right? But in midlife, that rhythm gets disrupted. Instead of staying low overnight, cortisol spikes and it wakes us up. Why? Because our foundational hormones, estrogen and progesterone, are now changing. Progesterone is our calming, soothing, grounding hormone. It helps our bodies produce GABA, the neurotransmitter that quiets the nervous system and allows us to feel safe enough to rest deeply. So think of progesterone as the body's natural calming system. As progesterone drops in perimenopause, and yes, this can start in our late 30s already or early 40s, that calming effect weakens. Sleep becomes lighter, more fragile, more easily disrupted. It's like losing our emotional weighted blanket. Then there's estrogen. Estrogen affects body temperature regulation, mood stability, serotonin production, anxiety levels, even our perception of safety. When estrogen fluctuates wildly, which is exactly what happens in perimenopause, we can experience night sweats, hot flashes, more anxious, racing thoughts, heightened emotional sensitivity, and that general sense that something feels off. All of that creates stress in the system, and stress triggers cortisol. So we get the perfect storm. Less progesterone equals lighter sleep. Fluctuating estrogen equals temperature, chaos, and anxiety. And chronic stress equals cortisol at the wrong time. Our bodies end up stuck in a mild fight or flight state, even when we're trying to sleep. So at 2 a.m., when cortisol spikes, our system says, wake up, something isn't safe, we need to be alert, even though nothing is actually wrong. So anyway, let's now talk about sleep architecture, because this matters. We don't sleep in one flat state. We cycle through stages about every 90 minutes. Light sleep, stages 1 and 2, deep sleep, which is stage 3, the restorative gold sleep, and then REM sleep, dreaming, emotional processing, memory, and learning. And that transition state, that dreamy, intuitive space between wake and sleep, is where many women get insight and creativity. But when cortisol spikes or blood sugar crashes, or we've had alcohol or sugar before bed, well, then we get yanked out of deep sleep and REM. So we might be in bed for 8 hours, but our sleep is actually fragmented. And that's why we wake up exhausted, even when we technically have slept. Okay, pause here with me for a second. If this is resonating, tell me in the comments. First of all, what's your biggest sleep challenge or struggle right now? Is it actually falling asleep, staying asleep, waking up anxious, night sweats, waking up exhausted no matter how long you were actually in bed? What is it? Drop a comment. You're not alone in this. And if this conversation is helpful, hit subscribe, because everything we do here is about supporting women through midlife with clarity, compassion, and practical wisdom. So, all right, let's get to the good part now. Here's the foundational principle. Our job is to send our bodies one clear message: you are safe. When we feel safe, cortisol settles, hormones rebalance, deep sleep becomes possible again. These strategies are designed to signal safety. Strategy number 1, balance your blood sugar. This is huge. If we eat sugary or carb-heavy dinners, blood sugar spikes, then actually crashes a few hours later. A crash feels like an emergency to the body. So it releases cortisol and adrenaline. And guess when that often hits? At 2 or 3 a.m. Instead, protein and fat and fiber at dinner. Optional bedtime snack, protein and fat and gentle carb. Examples of this are like walnuts, almonds, almond butter on a rice cake, hard-boiled egg, or full-fat Greek yogurt and berries, or cheese and a couple of crackers. Also, no caffeine afternoon. I know. Limit alcohol. It fragments sleep cycles very badly. Strategy number 2, get strategic about light. Blue light tells the brain it's daytime. So scrolling at 10 p.m. is literally instructing your biology to stay awake. What helps is to dim your lights after 8 p.m. Warm lamps, candles, night mode on devices. Ideally, no screens in bed. And in the morning, 10 to 15 minutes of sunlight if you can within the first hour. That resets your circadian clock and supports melatonin later. Strategy number 3, create a sacred wind-down ritual. We can't go from stimulated to deep sleep instantly. We need a bridge. A consistent 30 to 60 minute ritual. Gentle stretching, journaling, brain dump, reading, preferably not on a screen, warm bath, shower, breath work, yoga, calm music. Consistency trains your nervous system. Strategy number 4, optimize your sleep environment. Make your bedroom a sanctuary. Key areas: cool temperature, dark room, airflow, breathable bedding. And yes, I'm with you. I personally swear by a silk eye mask. If I wake at 3 a.m., I put it on, and I'm often back asleep within minutes. Strategy number 5 is move your body, but smartly. Exercise helps regulate cortisol and improves deep sleep. But timing matters. Morning or early afternoon, more intense workouts, and evening, gentle movement, walking, stretching, yoga, or whatever. Also, build small moments of stillness into your day. If your body only rests when it collapses, it never actually learns safety. Strategy number 6 is nervous system regulation. This is the root for so many of us. Try 4-7-8 breathing before bed. Inhale for 4, hold for 7, exhale for 8, and repeat 4 to 8 rounds. Also, humming, singing, gentle neck stretches, cold water on the face. These support vagus nerve signaling. And emotional processing matters too. Unprocessed emotion is stress, even if we're fine. Strategy number 7 is supplements with guidance. Important, I'm not a doctor. This isn't medical advice. Magnesium is a great example of this because not all magnesium is the same. There's magnesium glycinate, which often is calming and sleep supportive. Magnesium citrate, which can be a laxative as well. Magnesium oxide, which is often poorly absorbed, and too much can cause issues, so the dose matters. Other options that women explore are L-theanine, GABA, melatonin in low doses, ideally short-term, and adaptogens, but these vary by person. For some women, hormone support may be appropriate. That's a conversation to have with a specialized practitioner. I personally see an integrative physician, conventional and holistic. And if you can find someone like that in your area, it's absolute gold. And one more option, especially if you wake up with that wired but tired feeling, is supporting the nervous system with calming audio or sound-based relaxation tools. I've personally found that a short guided audio can help my body stand down when my mind actually won't. I'll link the one that I use in the description if you want to actually explore it. But please treat it as a support, not a cure, and always listen to your body. Here's what I want you to take away. That 2 a.m. wake-up call is not a failure. It's not a sign that you're broken. It's information. It's your body asking for support. And we can give our bodies that support. We can actually stabilize blood sugar and manage light, create rituals, and optimize our environment, and also regulate the nervous system, as well as using targeted supplementation when appropriate. This does not have to be your new normal. Yes, midlife is a transition. Yes, your body is changing. But you're not a passive victim of this process. You get to actually learn your body's new language. You get to respond with wisdom, not just willpower. So here's your next step. Pick one strategy from today, just one. Maybe it's a bedtime snack, a wind down ritual, or morning sunlight, breath work. Start there. Small, consistent shifts create profound change. If you want more evidence-based, heart-centered support for midlife, subscribe, hit the bell, and share this with another woman who needs to hear it. This is the Radiant Reset. I'm Beryl, and I'll see you in the next episode. The information shared in this video is based on personal experience and my own research, and is for educational purposes only. It's not medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Sleep disturbances can have many causes, so please consult a qualified healthcare provider before making changes to your health routine, starting new supplements, or if you have chronic sleep issues. Supplements are not suitable for everyone and may interact with other medications or existing conditions. So always work with a healthcare professional to determine what's actually right for you. If you're experiencing severe insomnia, mental health concerns, or other serious symptoms, please seek professional medical support. I'll see you in the next one.